Hello, welcome once again to the turret of pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, Zipp Gunn, and I'm your host as always. And I'm continuing a series I started a little while ago about my own personal musical journey. And this is where it gets a little bit loosey goosey. Up to this point, it's been largely, well, at the beginning, it was very easy to compartmentalize this. Now it gets a little harder. Now by about 19 mid 70s, I sort of discovered a whole bunch of different types of music that I really liked, and I sort of, well, like a lot of people, had music that I would go to and from. Reggae music in the summer sometimes, stuff like that. But the one thing that was missing all the years of my musical development was classical music. Never really heard any as a kid. My parents weren't into it. Nobody I knew was at all into classical music, and I discovered classical music in a really weird, roundabout way. Um, with the late '60s having all kinds of new, wonderful technological innovations. One of the ones that came along that really was cool to an 8-year-old was the Moog synthesizer. And the synthesizer got really popular largely through one record, which was Switched On Bach. And I heard Switched On Bach when it came out, and I thought that was a pretty cool record. And I didn't really know Bach from anything. I kind of knew that Bach was classical, and that was about it. But I never really ever listened to classical. And I really got into Switched On Bach. And at some point, somehow I, probably through the good offices of my friend Tony Stark and his dad Jim. And Jim had a pretty good classical collection. Jim was the cool dad out of all my friends' dads. He was a divorcee and lived with my friend Tony and his sister in a little kind of house just on the edge of the gravel pit there. And Jim had very refined musical tastes. And a lot of what he was into, I still like to this day. I still really like Herbie Mann, who I got introduced to by Jim. And Jim introduced me to Vivaldi and Boccherini and Deutsche Grammophon records. And so I kind of discovered all this stuff basically in late high school. And once I started getting into it, I really voraciously started to consume it. And of course, I always want to be learning stuff. So to this day, I have a real hunger for classical music. In the turret up here, all the CDs you see, and of course, you're only seeing one side of it. Here, maybe I'll do this. This will drive the microphonic fool crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. There you go. So all that up there, that's pretty much all pop or jazz. That chunk up there, those box sets, those are all classical. Now you get back here, and let's see if I can do this with a modicum of accuracy. Oh, let's see. It's going to work. Okay. Everywhere from my neck down is classical in this room. So there's a lot of classical. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels down. And as I've grown older, I've discovered composers. I started out loving Vivaldi, then I discovered Stravinsky, then I discovered Eric Satie, and I discovered Bartok and Charles Ives. I really love now, and it's a great place because you'll never really hear all the classical music, and it's cheap as dirt in the thrift stores. If you hit the right thrift store, you'll just walk out with a sack full of this stuff for nothing. And I find I listen to a lot more classical music now than I did maybe when I was 40. And I get more out of it. I guess that's the best way to put it. Can't listen to it when I want to rock. Can't listen to it when I need to swing a bit. Um, but when I need to kind of appreciate good art, I guess, is when I'll pull it out. And I've got a lot there's a lot of these CDs I've played more than a few times, which will make you laugh. There's, of course, a few in here I haven't played at all because I got them in big socks. Got a bunch when a friend of mine died. But, and again, like the punk rock, classical continues to be a real main thing I listen to all the time. So I had to put it in because that's one of the important pieces of my musical journey was the discovery of classical music. And now that I've seen a lot of it live, I've been very privileged to be friends with some absolutely crackerjack, world-class names you've probably heard if you're a classical person. And they're my friends, and I've gotten to see them play live, and I've gotten to hang out with them. And I'll tell you what, the classical crowd are a really fun bunch of people to hang out with after the concert. I'll tell you that. I've had many a fun evening with these folks after they've played gigs. And classical music is best seen live. Live, there's just something about it. Going to see a really good ensemble, like, say, the Emerson String Quartet, and watching them do Webern in a good hall is a very cool thing. And what's more, it's not that expensive. So, you know, more than once I've gotten out to see absolutely world-class stuff in acoustic environments that'll take your breath away for $50. So it's good for that, and it's good. You hear a lot of, once you get used to playing classical music a bit, it all starts to just all be music, and that's sort of what I liked about it. So that's about all I can really say, but I had to put this one in because I would be remiss if I didn't mention discovering it very suddenly and very completely, and to this day I'm always learning. Anyway, keep it short. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, and we'll do a few more of these and maybe do some sidetrack spotlight ones on various bands that fit into these various categories. And but yeah, they're fun to do, and I'll keep doing them as long as people watch them. So take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon.